we are knocking out drugs at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water. And nobody can figure out who the 4%. I wouldn't want to be the 4% either, but 96% of the drugs coming in by water. Every one of those boats you see get shot down, you just saved 25,000 American lives. But we knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water. And now we're starting by land. And by land is a lot easier. And that's going to start happening. And we're not going to have people destroying our youth, destroying our families. Thinking about youth, everybody.
This is my video update on this Saturday afternoon, December the 13th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with Trump announcing that there is going to be land strikes in Venezuela. He made that announcement yesterday as he was speaking to the media. So that's going to happen. Now that the sea strikes, the hitting of the boats and the seizing of tankers has been so successful, according to Trump, we are going to see land operations coming soon to Venezuela. An update on the immobilization of Russian assets. Ursula was very happy. She posted a message congratulating herself pretty much for the freezing of the Russian assets, the permanent freezing of Russian assets. But as I said in my video update yesterday, Russia is going to start its legal procedures against Euroclear, and they're going to start off in Russia, in Moscow. They're going to take Euroclear to court. Of course, everyone realizes that Russia, the Russian Central Bank, is going to win the case in Moscow. I don't think Euroclear is going to even bother arguing that case, but this is just the opening salvo from the Russians as they begin to build the legal case against Euroclear. And after they win in Russia, they're going to take it outside of Russia. And it's going to be very, very bad for Euroclear. Belgium actually has something like 18 billion euros inside of Russia. So that money's gone. But they're gonna hunt down Euroclear all over the world. Wherever Euroclear has a presence, anywhere in the world, my sense is that the Russian government, the Russian Central Bank, will go after Euroclear outside of Europe. There are actually some analysts who say that Euroclear could go bust from all of this. But Ursula's happy. All for Ukraine. Let's destroy Euroclear. Let's destroy Belgium. Let's destroy the financial reputation of Europe for the Green Goblin. Anything for the Green Goblin. Belgium is signaling that they're not going to allow the actual frozen assets, now that they've been immobilized permanently. They're not going to allow the actual assets to go to the Green Goblin. They're going to prevent it. Fico said he's going to block it. So you have the assets. They're frozen forever. But the assets, the Russian frozen assets, Belgium, Slovakia, Malta, Bulgaria, and now Italy. They're signaling to the European Union, to the Commission, not to actually send the money to the Green Goblin. Let's get him 220 billion, but let's find another way to get him 220 billion. Yes, the frozen assets are frozen forever, but let's not actually send those assets to the Green Goblin. But I think the damage has already been done. Politico has an article with the title, EU Heavyweight Italy Joins Belgium in Opposing Russian Frozen Assets Plan. So as Putin was meeting with Erdogan in Turkmenistan, the Prime Minister of Pakistan was waiting for 40 minutes because he was going to meet with Putin next. So he was waiting for 40 minutes, and he got restless, and he actually crashed the meeting between Putin and Erdogan. And he was telling Putin, "Bro, you made me wait for 40 minutes. What's going on?" And they sat, the three of them, in a meeting in Turkmenistan for 10 minutes. So he crashed the meeting with Putin and Erdogan because the Putin-Erdogan meeting was going overtime, running late, and he was made to wait 40 minutes, which is not really that long, to be quite honest. But he crashed the meeting between Putin and Erdogan. Anyway, that's just a side story. The real story is that as Putin was meeting with Erdogan, about an hour after the meeting, you had Russian Iskanders and a Russian Geran drone hit the port of Odessa, and the Geran drone hit a cargo ship, which, from what I understand, was a Turkish ship with a Panamanian flag. And the reports are that this Turkish cargo ship in Odessa was carrying generators, but there's now video of the Geran drone just moving right towards the ship and hitting the cargo ship. So I wonder what was said between Putin and Erdogan. I wonder what they were talking about, because right after their meeting, you had this Turkish ship being hit by the Russian drone, and they also sent Iskanders into the port of Odessa. Obviously, this is a retaliation, a response to going after the oil tankers that are not insured by London, otherwise known as the Shadow Fleet. But Ukraine has been going after these oil tankers. They've hit 4 oil tankers, Ukraine and maybe France. 3 of those tankers in the Black Sea, one of those tankers off the coast of West Africa. That's probably the tanker that the French helped to hit. But now you have the Russian retaliation. Putin said as much. He said, if you guys continue to go after tankers, then we're going to have to retaliate. And I think yesterday we saw the first retaliation from Russia, and they hit this Turkish ship, allegedly carrying generators. Maybe it was carrying something more than just generators. Maybe it was carrying weapons. I don't know. That's just a guess. But they smashed this Turkish cargo ship. So we also got the news. This is interesting, since we're talking about tankers. We also got the news from the Wall Street Journal that the United States, they seized a tanker going from China to Iran, I believe, a month ago. There was a tanker that was moving from China to Iran, carrying oil, and the United States seized this ship. It wasn't a tanker, a cargo ship. U.S. forces raid ship, seized cargo headed to Iran from China. Operation highlights the Trump administration's use of aggressive tactics against adversaries at sea that were rarely used in the past. And this happened a month ago, but the Wall Street Journal is reporting about this now. Why are they reporting about this now? Why has the Trump White House given them the information or told them to report on this story now? Is it to distract away from the seizing of the Venezuelan tanker, which has pissed off most of the international community? That was a bad move, going after that Venezuelan tanker. So now they have to run with this story about seizing a cargo ship from Iran, from China to Iran. I don't know. It's very suspicious running with this story a month later. And we don't even have any details about the cargo ship, the name of this ship. No details, just this story that's running about seizing the cargo ship a month ago from China to Iran. So that was an interesting article that came out yesterday. Also yesterday, Iran seized a tanker carrying 6 million liters of smuggled diesel in the Gulf of Oman. So Iran's retaliation perhaps to the Venezuelan tanker, and they say the Venezuelan tanker that the United States seized was going from Venezuela to Cuba, and some reports claim that it was going to eventually make it to China, but it was going to stop in Iran, and then from Iran go to China. I don't know. This is what some reports are saying, but now you have Iran seizing a cargo ship in the Gulf of Oman, a tanker in the Gulf of Oman. No doubt Iran is retaliating against the U.S. Seizing of cargo ships and tankers. A dangerous time to be a shipping company, huh? All this is going to do is just drive costs higher and higher and higher. That's all this is going to do. So Zelensky, he put out a very strange video yesterday where he claims to be in Kupyansk, a propaganda video, and he's wearing his vest and he's carrying his iPhone 17, and everyone is commenting on the fact that he has an iPhone 17. What are you doing with an iPhone 17, Zelensky? Anyway, he posts this video. He's in front of a Kupyansk, an area actually 2 kilometers outside of Kupyansk, but you can see the city's name, like he usually does. He stands in front of the statue of the city name, and he did the same thing yesterday. But he wasn't really in Kupyansk. He was 2 kilometers outside of Kupyansk, and everyone has geolocated him, and everyone has said, okay, he wasn't really in Kupyansk. He was in the outskirts of Kupyansk, but he posts this propaganda video so that he could say that Russia has not really captured Kupyansk. Here I am, the Green Goblin. He didn't say Green Goblin, but he said, here I am taking a video from the region of Kupyansk. So Putin was lying. Russia hasn't captured Kupyansk. And we fight on. The brave heroes of Ukraine are fighting on. And on the Ukrainian side of things, they're cheering Zelensky. They say he's a hero. He's so heroic. He got as close to the front lines as he could, and he filmed this video. And Putin would never do that. Of course Putin would not do that. Why would Putin do that? Russia's winning. This was the move of a very desperate man. The Ukraine side of things, they're cheering Zelensky, and they're saying this is brave, this is heroic, but this is the action of a man who's desperate to get close to Kupyansk, and you're not even in Kupyansk. You're a couple of kilometers outside of Kupyansk. So they parachute you into, well, they didn't parachute him in there, whatever, they place him at this area. From what I understand, it's an abandoned steel area, steel facility, factory. And so they drop him there. He does his 5-minute TikTok video, and then he leaves so that he can prove to Trump that Putin is lying when he says that Russia captured Kupyansk. No, Russia captured Kupyansk, but they just haven't made it 2 kilometers to where you were yet. They'll get there. But I mean, this is not how you win wars. This is not even how you do propaganda, to be honest. It was the act of a very, very desperate leader to try and prove that Russia has not captured all of Kupyansk, even the outskirts of Kupyansk. They'll get to the outskirts of Kupyansk. They'll get there once they clear out the city center. But a lot of people were commenting on his iPhone. Most of the comments were on his iPhone. How did he get an iPhone 17? That's like that's like $1,500 phone. How did he get that? How did Zelensky afford a $1,500 iPhone? Podolyak, this iPhone 17, very expensive. But I like the orange color. Yes, Mr. President, the orange color suits you. Do they have it in green? I don't think so, Mr. President. I don't think they have green iPhone 17. Anyway, Zelensky's going to be meeting with Witkoff over the weekend in Berlin. Not in Kiev, in Berlin. And they're going to talk about the peace plan, according to Axios. And also, according to Axios, they have made progress on the peace plan. It's going to be 3 parts. One part is the money part, the reconstruction. Another part is the security guarantees, and then the other part is the territory part. And according to Axios, the United States is ready to provide Zelensky with Article 5-like security guarantees. That's what Axios is saying. So basically, the United States is going to provide security guarantees for Ukraine, much like NATO Article 5. Zelensky likes it. Witkoff's going to discuss it with him in Berlin. They're negotiating amongst themselves, the United States, Ukraine, the Europeans, and they're not running any of this by Russia, or at least it seems like they're not running any of this by Russia, because Article 5-like security guarantees is something that Russia will never be down with. They're not going to approve Article 5-like guarantees for Ukraine from the United States. It's just not going to happen. But that's what Axios is saying. That's what he's going to be presented with, Zelensky, in Berlin this weekend. Basically, the plan that they're going to present to the Green Goblin, that they're going to discuss in Berlin, Witkoff and Zelensky. I think Kushner's also going to be there. Basically, it's the CIA plan that David Ignatius posted on the WAPO a couple of days ago, and I talked about it pretty much in great length. Actually, I talked about this plan, and it's a three-letter agency plan that they would like to see implemented for Ukraine, and it looks like that's the plan that they're going to discuss in Berlin, which is a pro-Ukraine plan, a Russian capitulation plan. That's what we're talking about. But that's the update there. They can negotiate amongst themselves all they want. Eventually, they're going to have to take this to Russia, and Russia's going to take a look at all of these plans that they're putting together, and they're going to say this is not even close to Istanbul Plus, so no thank you. And even Ushakov and Peskov, they shot down the whole referendum thing that the Green Goblin was pitching the other day. By the way, Axios says that it was either Axios or the New York Times. One of them said that Witkoff and Kushner, they liked the referendum idea. That's what they claim. The referendum idea is going nowhere, and Ushakov and Peskov, they said as much. They were asked about Zelensky's idea to hold a referendum for territory, and Ushakov and Peskov said, "What are you talking about? That territory is Russian, according to the Russian Constitution. So we don't know what he's talking about when he's saying to hold a referendum." That was their response to that idea. So we'll make it a quick video for today. And before we get to a couple of clown worlds, we have a secret meeting that took place in Florida, which the Washington Post is reporting on, between Patel, Bongino, and Umerov. Umerov, who is implicated in the gold toilet energy scandal, and he is also Zelensky's chief negotiator. And the Washington Post is wondering, why did the FBI have a meeting with Umerov? And they're speculating that this is about the FBI trying to put pressure on Umerov to put pressure on Zelensky to accept the Trump peace plan. I don't think that's what's going on at all. I believe that Umerov had these secret meetings with the FBI to talk about amnesty issues. That would be my guess. Why else would he be speaking with Bongino and Patel? I don't know. Maybe he was discussing other stuff with them. But it's bizarre to have Kash Patel and Dan Bongino meeting with Umerov. That's a weird one. So let's do some clown worlds. And we'll start things off with, my God, this story about Machado and her escape from Venezuela. They're really, really playing this one up, huh? A wig, a boat, and she escaped Venezuela. They're really, really playing this story up. That's how you know it's probably not as they describe it, because they're really, really making this out to be some sort of incredible, masterful escape from Maduro and Venezuela. And The Guardian is even saying that as she was on a boat trying to escape Venezuela, the U.S. Special Forces guys, the agents that were smuggling her out of Venezuela, they were afraid that her boat was going to be hit by the United States. Machado's escape planner feared U.S. strike on her vessel as it fled Venezuela. Look at the picture of her in The Guardian, the photo that they go with. I'm king of the world. Yeah, we're going to have the land operation starting now that Machado has been put in place. She's now in Oslo, in Norway. Eventually she'll make her way to D.C. She'll probably speak in front of Congress. Everything is being lined up for the final push at some sort of regime change. At least that's how it looks. And since we're speaking about a golden toilet, we have some billboards in Hungary. I think these are Orbán party Fidesz billboards, which show Ursula, Zelenskyy, and I think that's Orbán's main opposition, right? Magyar Peter. I believe that's his opposition in the billboard. And they're pouring money down this golden toilet. What a great billboard. The billboard says they're raising your taxes and spending your money on Ukrainian golden toilets. Ursula, the Green Goblin, and Magyar, Peter Magyar, who's doing well in the polls, the opposition, the pro-EU opposition to Orbán. So anyway, that's the clown world. I think I will end the video there. Give a like to this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this video. I will see everyone tomorrow. Take care.
And that's why he invaded. And he did it not because Ukraine was protected by NATO or because Ukraine was going to join NATO, but precisely because it wasn't protected by NATO. And even so, it turned out that he made a disastrous mistake, which has cost him 1.1 million killed or wounded for less than 20% of the country in a war where, unless we are weak, he has no serious chance of winning. A snail would get to the Polish border faster at this rate than Putin's troops.